So today I'm with Ms. Suzette. She's an advocate for remote work. And today we're going to talk about how to improve your remote setup. She has a background in IT. Can you explain further what your background is generally?
Yeah, so I'm heavy on technical.
Okay.
So I came from the IT industry. I won't mention how many years, but yeah. So, but you'll guess my age.
Age is just a number. I think what's important is experience.
Yeah. So I came from the tech industry and more on tech implementations with Microsoft solutions. So that's where I started. And then when I put up my own independent contracting or consulting business, I have ventured out and added services in my portfolio doing software and mobile app development.
So now you run your own agency and you basically do the same thing of what you used to do at Corp.
Yes.
And when did you start your agency, and how did you start your journey and decided like, oh, I want to start building my own?
Yeah, so I've heard about working from home way back when I was trying to find options or solutions where I can stay at home, take care of my kids, and at the same time having an income. But that didn't flourish because I have the golden handcuff, staying in the corporate job because it's obvious we are well paid in the tech industry. So yeah, I stayed there. And then eventually when pandemic came, I was a late bloomer actually in freelancing. I just started December 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So I was searching for the top skills or high in demand skills in freelancing. So I found social media marketing, copywriting, web development, and Shopify, so and the like. So I was very enamored in providing that skill and trying to find clients where I didn't know how when I started. And then I joined a community. It's called the Tribe, if you're familiar. It's a freelancing movement. That's where I found this is the type of community and the freelancing or the type of remote work that I was looking for. It's my business. Because back then, what I only knew is being the employee and becoming the employer, not the in-between. No solopreneur, no independent contractor. So when I found out, I tried to look within, so introspection, what do I have or what skills can I offer now? Because I needed money at that time. I was running a business. It was pandemic. I have other families and mouths to feed. So I need to keep the business afloat and our family economy at the same time. So I tried searching for freelancing work. And then eventually I found out, okay, so if I do the same skills doing consulting, then I might make it big.
What was the light bulb moment because a lot of people in corporate find it really hard to transition to remote work. What was the light bulb moment where like, this is enough, I'm moving out of corporate, I'll start remote work?
Okay, yeah. Actually, it's not freelancing in the as my priority when I moved out from corporate job. It was mainly because we started a restaurant business, a food business with my F&B with my husband way back in Feb 2020. And then pandemic came. March 15, lockdown.
Everything closed. Yeah.
Yeah, so eventually I needed to find another avenue for an income.
Okay.
And then, so that's where I started really looking into freelancing. And then coming from the consulting type of business with the corporate employer or my previous company, I shifted from that role to just providing my own independent consulting business. So that's the light bulb moment where, okay, I'll use my current skill. I'll do the proposal that was taught to me on how I can pick the pain points of those clients that I was targeting. And it was it was totally different from the consulting proposal preparation from corp job, a 25-page proposal to just a single or one-pager proposal. And I was making more than I was getting with the corp job.
Did you
size,
resign right
corporate.
away, or was there a transition period? How did that work for you?
Yeah, I resigned because I put up the food and beverage business.
Oh, okay,
with
you
it.
resigned that time.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when the pandemic hit, then that's the time you came back to consulting.
Yes.
Okay, so what would okay, so when you started remote work, what was the challenges for you to transition to the online world?
Like any other moms and including my kids, they had some struggles, especially we were locked down, we were inside our home, we couldn't go outside the balcony, or else you're gonna extract from the air or any infections that you might get. So we were stuck inside the four walls of our house.
And what about equipment? Was it hard to get equipment because of the pandemic? At that time?
Yeah, I was using the second hand or the laptop that I had, and I was taking turns, or I wait for my turn after my kids are done with their schoolwork or studies.
Also, you guys were using just one computer.
We were using one second-hand desktop and one old laptops from my corporate. I was using before, and then so that was the setup that we had. So normally I do reaching out to clients or find freelancing work at night, so my kids can focus on their studies. They can use the desktop
During the day.
during the day. So
That's a nice way to juggle between, and I think you found that key element where you could share the equipment, because a lot of these days virtual assistants, when coming from corp, I think that's one of their main hurdles in the beginnings, to find equipment and find internet connection, and maybe next to that is the skills what they could offer. Now, during that time, I know you have an IT background, so can you explain in layman's terms like exactly what you do? Because I know there's a lot of jargons involved, but of course our community and the VAs, I think what they're familiar with are maybe websites, development, and just like the basic things. So what would your advice be for, let's say, VAs who would want to pursue, let's say, web development? Where should they start resources?
Google University and YouTube University. That was those two were my main professors, instructors, my consultants when I was starting, because you have to have that grit to learn by yourself without waiting for someone to teach you. You have to equip yourself properly. So the software I tried, based on my experience, was learning WordPress development. And then there were no-code solutions like Wix. But as coming from tech, I really wanted to have the flexibility to code, to adjust and integrate with other solutions. So that was my main criteria in checking for a software that you can also use as a freelancer, and services that you can offer.
Would you say WordPress is a really good stepping stone to start that type of career?
Yeah, there are freelancers and work from homes that are very knowledgeable, and they are highly paid highly paid doing the services like website design, copywriting, and they know WordPress as their baseline.
Oh, that's nice. So would you say it's competitive with social media, content creation, or graphics, or is web and applications at the higher tier of salaries?
Right now, I guess the people who were offering WordPress development before, they have to upskill because of the if I may say, it's a bit cramped or saturated. So they are upscaling into, they are putting in services or upsell their services with copywriting, blogging on the sides, email copy, setting up landing pages or funnel strategies. So it's a good stepping point, yes. But you have to have the unique selling proposition in terms of your unique skill that you can offer to your clients.
So it's not only important in software to only know how to build a website, but you need to know integrations, other softwares that work with what you build.
Yes, that's right.
But for people in virtual assistants and remote workers who want to pursue this this career in software and applications, what would be your top 3 advice for them?
Okay. It's a counterintuitive in discussing about skills or upscaling yourself. I guess the first step that they should take if they want to go to freelancing is find a client to serve. Find a client first before learning a skill. That is where I see that where we should start, because you can learn while you're doing, and in order for you to rapid the learning or to quickly learn a skill is when there is the need already. You have to hit the deadline. You have to meet the deadline. You have to learn as quickly as you could or as you can, so you can deliver the service with quality. So in 4 hours, surprisingly, you can learn a skill as quickly as that, because you have to deliver what you have promised to your client. Or the other route is be an agency. You can offer that service. You can outsource with someone who can do, because sometimes we were so locked in on what we can do, but there are people who are more technically savvy or are more experts on that field. Then go to a notch higher. If you can't do it, then hire someone who can. That was my main. That was my pivot, my turning point, where okay, I can provide services with the skills that I have, but I wanted to scale out and provide another service or another line of services where, like, for example, mobile and software development. I had to hire experts, highly paid developers to complete a task for me. So that's where I started. So you have to have the owner mindset instead of just providing being just a self. I'm not just saying just. But if you want to stay as a solopreneur or independent, self-employed or independent contractor, then that is the route that I can also advise you to do. But if you want to scale and you want to be big, then go the agency route.
It's quite interesting because not a lot of people like yourself with an IT background would actually advise on get a job then learn the skill. It's quite a different way to see it. And I think one of the biggest mistake is remote workers try to find a skill that they're not even passionate or they don't even enjoy, and then they try to get a job after just because they finish a course or anything like that. So right now you run the agency, and how many people do you have under you?
I don't.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't.
Can you give us advice on that for agency owners out there?
Yeah, the reason why, because I'm still consider myself a startup,
Okay.
and the only way that I can survive pandemic and post-pandemic phenomenon is to not scale quickly like what I did on my past businesses that failed. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So the mistakes that I learned from being coming from a traditional business was I tried to scale quickly and I got burned down.
Burned out. Not burned out, burned out.
Yeah, it burned out. And yeah, so going back to the interesting, I don't maintain salaried employees because in my mindset is I operate my business as a cockroach because it started as just a simple desk underneath our staircase, the space underneath the staircase, and that's where I started. And I want to remain as such until I'm ready to scale. So the dynamic that I have is I have clients. I only get the people who can provide those services and support.
So basically outsource.
I outsource as agency, and then they fulfill the job for my clients. And me as doing the project management, I also do the stuff on my own. I also maintain my own clients.
That's very interesting. I think a lot of agency owners can learn from you because you're like a one-woman agency, but it works. You outsource, and for sure, the people that you outsource to are reliable and they've been with you for quite a long time.
Yes. So there were two things that you can hire if you're ready and if you have the bandwidth to train someone who doesn't have any skills, doesn't know how to fulfill the job, and choose an expert. You have to pay them handsomely, but they can fulfill the job well. So you have to have that balance. So you have to choose whether or not would you like to pay them large amounts or you hire someone who will stretch you out using your time and energy. And yeah.
How do you screen these independent contractors?
Normally, I operate based on trust. That even without any contracts, I keep my word. I honor those agreements, even verbally, without any papers. Until I got burned several times because of that principle that I still maintain up to now, that I operate based on trust until they give me a reason not to. And then
That's quite interesting because a lot of agency owners do operate based on trust, especially for software developers. Because if they could do the job well without any paper, I think trust is really important because that gives you more opportunity in the future.
Yep, and just by no, I guess it maybe because of my ability to read glints or hints from those crease on the face, on the eyes. I always say that I have a high antenna detecting BS. I've learned along the way, so you'll see the pattern.
What are the several red flags that you'd be like, nah, this is not my guy?
I'm lucky I have people around who warn me after. It's mostly after a fact or during a conversation. You'll see if the guy or the person has bad intentions. I rely on my instincts. That is my intuition. I guess most of the business owners operate because there is really no data to base off in terms of judgment or decision making, because sometimes there are no data available where we can only rely on our instincts or our intuition in running the business.
For what I know, IT professionals from corporate, most of them are, well, not most, probably a big percentage of them are introverts. So usually they're programmers. They like to be behind the desk.
Mm-hmm.
What would your advice? What would your advice be to them if they want to move to remote, but they have a hard time selling themselves? Like they don't know how to promote their skills or what they do. They don't have a portfolio. What would give me like your top 3 recommendations or advice?
If you don't know how to sell your service or yourself, then don't do business. I mean, you have to have that audacity or that confidence to be able to sell yourself. Even if just a simple, applying for a job, a simple job application, you should be able to tell the interviewer what you can offer to the table. So that's one. They are highly technical in terms of software developments. They are highly paid, but now we how do I say this? Because there is a thin line between a software development or software developer who just want to have their 15 to 30th, and that's fine. But if they want to offer software development, then I guess they partner with someone who is extrovert like me. Because you have to have the balance, or it's always a dynamic of partnership, collaboration, where if you're an introvert, then partner with someone who can sell your services, and that's what I do. I tell my colleagues or developers that I can sell you even if you're standing just right there. So I already have stated 2.
Yeah.
What's the third? Now, no, it's just simply finding a client and then find their pain point on how they can help. They don't have to be out there doing like content creation or be an influencer. They can just they can directly message their networks or their past employers, friends that they're offering services that they have, or it's just maybe simply a message that, hey, I'm planning to, or I've decided to offer my services as an independent contractor. Do you know someone who needs my services? Or that way, then you can maybe get a referral from your friend, from your relative, and that's where I also started. I got referrals from those DMs that I do in LinkedIn and Facebook, and sometimes posting what I do, and that's how you attract inbound, and you reach out to your network.
A great advice from Suzette. She has an IT background. Suzette, thank you for your time. Very insightful. Thank you for your wisdom. Hopefully we have more virtual assistants who would follow the path for software development, web development, and basic applications. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks.
All right.